Today is the 1st of July in the year 2025. And based on my location where I find myself in Canada, the 1st of July is the Independence Day in Canada here. So we call it Canada Day. And in Ghana, my home country, where I was born, grew up, my native land, today, the 1st of July, is the Republic Day. That is the day that Ghana declared itself as a republic. And so today, I'm not going to talk about Canada Day. It's just coincidence that this date actually reflects two countries, the reality of two countries in my life, and also every Ghanaian living in Canada. But today, I am going to speak to you about the relationship between the central government and the local administration, and I caption it as the icing and the cake analogy. But before I go on, let me make this statement. Today in Ghana, everywhere, it's Republic Day, it's a holiday. But how are you celebrating this day? This day is supposed to be a solemn and a reflective day, right from the office of the president to the lowest office of the government machinery. And in the rooms and under the trees of all the people in Ghana, it is necessary for us to sit down and do a reflection and ask ourselves, how far have we brought ourselves in terms of development, improving our life, working to improve upon our life with our own efforts. That is what we're supposed to do. So I urge you, as we celebrate the 65th year of Ghana as a republic, let us reflect upon what we have achieved. It is not about going back to talk about history and how people have made this and that and that and that. Other people are those working against that. That is not necessary. What is necessary is what we want to achieve and what we want to use our minds to achieve that as our own efforts. Okay, so today, that is just for the celebration of the Republic Day in Ghana. And as I said yesterday, all my brothers and sisters from other African countries listening to me, whatever I'm saying is practical and applicable to your country. So please listen to me with an open mind and also try to, put whatever I'm saying on your country. We are all trying to develop. I have a strong belief. I'm an African person. And I believe that if Ghana develops, and all other African countries are still lagging behind, that is of no use. But when Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, all other countries around us, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, we are all developed and we collaborate. We work collaboratively, sharing ideas across borders. And that is when we can say we are a formidable force that has power and authority to overtake all other powers, or to, rub shoulders with other powers on the world stage. And so, whatever I'm saying here is applicable to your country if you're not a Ghanaian. So today, I'm going to speak to you about what I call the icing and the cake analogy. I am speaking from experience. I grew up in Ghana. And when I was growing up, I remember in primary school, we used to do what we call civic studies. And I remember we used to read books about some of these things, the system of government and other things and that. But today, in our educational setup, I am not quite sure that the children of today are being exposed to this civic education. But this is where every citizen of the nation developed its understanding of his or her relationship with the government, starting from the lowest level, which is the town, through to the district administration and on to the national administration. And so I want to take this opportunity to bring your mind back to very important and this is very important topic, and also to help you to understand or to remind you that you, as a citizen of Ghana, the president of Ghana today, His Excellency John Mahama, is your employee. All his ministers are your employees. Your MP is your employee. The district chief executive in your area is your employee. They are working on your behalf, and therefore you have a direct relationship between you and them, and you are supposed to hold them accountable. It is not only when it comes to voting that you're supposed to hold them accountable, but it is you knowing your rights and responsibility and using the right channels to hold them accountable. But as a matter of fact, if you are ignorant about your rights, then it's better. It's just the same as you don't have you're not having the right. So as it is now, the majority of the Ghanaians, especially the younger generation, don't know the relationship between them and the government, and also the relationship between their local administration and the central government. You see, it is necessary. Once again, as I've been using Britain as an example, if you come to Britain, or if you go to Britain, and if you come to Canada here, we have what we call civic education. Children or students are introduced to civic education and civic responsibilities. In Canada here, they do volunteering work. In the UK, I know they do volunteering work as part of your civic duty. And they go into the community to help. This is to expose the children to the fact that they are part and parcel of the whole system. And so such children will grow up to become adults who have complete knowledge about what they're supposed to do and what is expected of them as citizens, but not necessarily just looking at the leaders as some people that they have, or the magic wand that they can just wave the wand and things begin to fall on them. You see. And so it is your responsibility to know your rights. And if you know your rights, then that you have power. And so the relationship between your government, which is the national government, and the local government in your area, as I said the other day, it's like the cake and the icing. The central government is just a dressing. And then the actual machinery that brings about improvement in the life of the people, like community development, is the local administration. And so when you are actually looking at the government, do not look at the president as the one that you are appealing to, but you must look at the local administration in your area, your district chief executive, and all the assembly members. But as it is now, as a matter of fact, this system is not working well. And as a matter of fact, the district chief executive is a political appointee, so they don't normally do any the work that they're supposed to do. And the assembly members to just go in there to, occupy spaces. That is it. You say, but this is the time that you got to understand how the government works. And then what I'm saying is you demand this from them. When it is time for elections, the political parties, the leaders come to you with their manifestos. They tell you what they want to do for you. This time around, don't let it be so. But you tell them what you want them to do for you. And if they can buy into what you want them to do for you, then you are going to vote for them. That is a fact. You see. And so the relationship between the local administration and the central government is just like a cake. The cake itself is something that we don't see. It's not that beautiful. But the icing is beautiful. We use it for decorating all other places, or to decorate the cake, to make it more beautiful. But you can actually eat the cake without the icing. That is a fact. And so to bring about development in Ghana, The only way that we can bring about development, uniform and sustainable development in Ghana, is to impress upon anyone that comes before you that you need a proper structure of local administration. And therefore, it is their responsibility, your MP must be able to table a motion that brings about the restructure, reformation of the local governance system. It is not just about people voting for people to go and occupy spaces over there in Accra and make noises. Sometimes some of the things that they discuss are unnecessary, as a matter of fact. But that is what we are seeing now. But I'm not here to accuse anyone. They are doing what they can do. So it is not my duty to criticize what they are doing. But I'm just commenting. I respect the president as the president of Ghana. All the ministers, I give them the due respect. They hold a position. And therefore, it is not my job to criticize them. But it is my job to present to you what you're supposed to know and what you're supposed to expect from them. And so long as we are in this country, or we are alive here, for us to see development, there must be proper local administration. And the local administration is what we call, starting from the towns. All towns must have leadership. All towns must have leadership. And the big elephant in this equation is chieftaincy, the chiefs, the local or the traditional leaders. As a matter of fact, Ghana is a modern state. Ghana is a republic. And therefore, we cannot practice tradition and modern things at the same time and to become modern. As a matter of fact. And so there is the need for you at the same time. You are supporting your chiefs. You are those following your chiefs. When they ask you to take a knife or a gun to kill, you kill. Now is the time for you to turn around and ask them that we are now in a modern world, and therefore chieftaincy, as a matter of fact, as part of our local administration, needs to be reformed, needs to be restructured. Every town must have a political administration with a mayor, a councillors working towards them. All the natural resources, everything that the chiefs and the traditional leaders control must go into the hands of these local administrators. Then that we can generate funds, we can generate resources, and then make laws. Through the laws, we can generate resources and develop our communities, our towns. Then that they can initiate capital projects. The chief could only be a ceremonial figure that controls nothing, but just for traditional purposes, because we believe in our traditions. Therefore, I cannot say that we should throw them away. But the fact is that so long as developmental issues is concerned, the chiefs must step out of it. And that is by taking control, the local administrations taking control of all the natural resources, everything in the local area, in the name of the central government. And so you have a role to play as far as you and your central government is concerned. And you have a role to play as far as you and your traditional leaders are concerned. One thing that I find very fascinating is when I came to this part of the world, you walk across the United Kingdom, and wherever you go, we have only political administration. And when you offend or when you commit offense, they take you to court. Then they fine you. They use the money to develop the area. But if you look at what we have in Ghana, especially with the traditional rulership, there are some issues that when someone does something, they take him to the chief's house. And when they take them there, all that they do is that they ask the person to come and slaughter a sheep or goat, or bring shinap or gin, or bring money. And when this money goes into the hands of the chiefs, they share the money amongst themselves. They don't use it to develop the land. They don't use it to develop the town. That is where the problem is. One of the key things that brings about underdevelopment in our area is the monopoly of resources and some of these issues by the traditional rulers. And so we are in a modern world. Ghana is a republic. It's a republic we are a nation that is a republic. A republic cannot exist as as a traditional nation. Therefore, it's time for us to move forward. Everything that you have, if you don't reform it, it turned out to be it turned out to work against you. And so the central government is the icing, and the local administration is the cake. But this cake will be available to us, or this cake will be in existence only when we demand the central government to make laws in such a way that the local administrations are empowered. The district assembly system has to be reconfigured. The district chief executive must not be a political appointee. As a matter of fact, we don't actually have, it shouldn't be anything like district chief executive. Like the district head is a city or is a town that has a mayor that controls with all the elected members that helps him to, manage the town. If you go to other towns, they have their own administration, you see. And when we do this, you will realize that we will have a uniform development. We have things going on. Even without the government, the central government giving us money at the local level. If you go to the UK, street lights, public or community services such as library, parks, swimming pool, and all these things are done by the town or community centers, you see. And so this is the time you got to understand how this works. And also, you must hold your leaders accountable. One thing that I find it so beautiful is in Canada here, when we came to Canada with my wife and my family, we settled in a town called Milton. And we used to attend in Milton. The mayor normally have what we call the mayor's levy. It is on the first of every year. The mayor and his councillors have an open house meeting with the community. Everyone can go. So you go there, you have conversation, you share ideas, and then people have the opportunity to tell the mayor what they want to see in the community. And the mayor also explain other things to the projects they're doing. So beautiful. Every year. For 4 years, my family have attended. We actually took pictures. We have the pictures and with the then mayor, you see. This is how development comes about. Community engagement. The community understanding what they are supposed to do. And they understanding what the leaders in the community must do for them. But as it is in Ghana, when the leaders, even as it is here, the district chief executive comes to a town in an SUV or a very posh car, then when they come, the people rather dance to greet them, you see. That is colonial thing. These are colonial things that you guys are doing, you see. The district chief executive is supposed to come to you to explain to you what he is about, what he's supposed to do for you, and then listen to you what you are expected from him or her. But not you drumming. And the most despicable one aspect of it is that the local people who are poor, living in poverty, then a district chief executive will go to a town, and these poor people will gather their foodstuffs and then even give them goats and sheep, and then they carry back to wherever they come from. Any government official that comes to you, wherever you are, that person is your employee. He is supposed to lavish you with what you need, but not you supposed to give them gifts. That is a colonial mentality, and that has to be addressed, you see. And so the icing and the cake analogy is simply the relationship between the central government and the local administration. But here in Ghana's situation, we have the traditional ruler system also as part of it. Therefore, you, the citizen, you are in the middle. You are supposed to impress upon the traditional leaders to open up for reforms. And you're supposed to ask your central government to make laws such that the reforms will be practicable. It is only when that you begin to make this demand to your leaders, your MPs, but not worshiping them, not venerating them, then that you have power, then that you are actually playing your civic responsibility as a citizen. And so it's a broad thing, but my job is to bring out some of these things and open up your mind. If you go to Britain, which I'm using as a case study in terms of Ghana's situation, all these things I'm saying are practical. All my fellow Ghanaians in Britain, or even in the US, Canada, whatever, all my African brothers in the diaspora, you can verify this yourself. And as a matter of fact, sometimes I feel that, not that sometimes, it is a mathematical fact that those of us that have traveled to this part of the world, we are disappointing our nations because we just came in and we are not paying attention to how things are done here. We are only interested in collecting items and take it back home, that we are setting up business. Those things are good. But those businesses will flourish only when there are proper government or governance and the government structures such that whatever you need for your business to flourish will be available. So that is my message for you today. Today is the 1st of July, Ghana's Republic Day. Think about Ghana and do your own reflection. And as I've been saying all the time, find time to ask yourself, whether you're a woman or a man or old man or young man, ask yourself, today, if John Mahama, His Excellency, the President of Ghana, and his ministers and all his government machinery, decide to put all our resources together, they're going to distribute these resources to every town, every village, every community in Ghana. Do you think such amount will be enough for your area to have a library, for your area to have a community park, for your area to have, what we call it, some of the amenities that are needed in the 21st century in every community? That is not possible. But if we begin to generate funds from our own level, and even if they choose to give this money to us, we will have more money that we can provide everything that we need. And that is even sustainable because the money that we generate is continuous. It is not dependent on any natural resources, but it is the people that are making their contribution towards their own well-being, towards their own welfare, before the central government comes to support them. That is my message for you. Think about Ghana, and think about Ghana not as a traditional state, but think about Ghana as a progressive, a modern state, where political structures exist, and are working effectively and efficiently. Thank you. Once again, let me take this opportunity to appeal to you. Subscribe to our channel and be part of this community. The job here is to empower the ordinary people to begin to demand from their leaders, both political and traditional leaders, for reformation, for reforms, such that in a short time, we will see development, proper development, springing forth all over the country, such that Ghana will continue to be the beacon of Africa. And this will express to all other parts of Africa. Then Africa takes its rightful place in world affairs. Thank you, and God bless you.